And I recall walking around the crime scene a few days later, looking at the bullet holes and really shaking my head in disbelief and wondering how these gangsters thought that they were going to get away with this. Well, they didn't.
Mounties, along with members of the Integrated Homicide Investigation Team, announced charges against 8 alleged gangsters Monday, 2 of whom are still at large. 33-year-old Connor DeMonte and 34-year-old Corey Frankie Valley are facing a number of murder-related charges in the shooting deaths of 2 men. Police say Valley and DeMonte have deep gang ties.
One of the founders of the United Nations gang, in fact, Connor DeMonte, is known by police as that gang's day-to-day leader. DeMonte is an extremely dangerous individual. Corey Valley also has not been located by investigators and currently has an outstanding Canada-wide warrant for his arrest and connections to those charges.
In May of 2008, 24-year-old Jonathan Barber was shot to death as he drove down the 7,000 block of Kingsway in Burnaby. Barber was driving this car, a Porsche Cayenne, associated to a known gangster, his girlfriend suffering injuries as she drove behind, following him. Investigators insist Barber had no gang ties.
Jonathan Barber was a complete innocent, simply doing his job. His job was to drive this vehicle to a local stereo repair shop.
Some wonder whether Barber knew that job was for a known gang member like these ones.
The information that we have is that he was not aware, other than it's a client who was having a vehicle fixed.
9 months later, 27-year-old Kevin Leclerc was shot, leaving a shopping center in Walnut Grove near Langley. Police say Leclerc was a high-ranking Red Scorpion member and had close ties to the Bacons. Leclerc pictured here with Jamie Bacon.
We investigated the UN gang and the Bacon group for some time and were unable to get them with some of the specific acts that they had perpetrated at the time. That has now come to fruition today.
Police wouldn't say what led them to Valley and DeMonte. However,
we did aggressively look for witnesses that will tell the story that we need so that we can paint again a proper picture for the judge or the judge and jury.
Police are asking anyone who sees either of the two to contact police. Sam Numsen in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
Sam Numsen joins us now. Sam, any more details on the charges?
Well, Allison, both men are charged with conspiracy to murder the Bacons and the first-degree murder of Kevin Leclerc. Valley is also facing charges relating to the death of Jonathan Barber and the attempted murder of his girlfriend. Now, there are 6 other men facing charges, drug trafficking and conspiracy to murder among them, but these men are already in police custody. Now, these latest charges are the product of a joint effort by IHIT and the Combined Forces Special Enforcement Unit. Their aim was specifically to target those responsible for Leclerc's death. Allison?
So, Sam, in a situation like this, what happens next?
Well, Allison, investigators are asking the public to keep on the lookout for both Valley and DeMonte, but are reminding people to keep their distance. Superintendent Mallow stressed the fact that both men should be considered armed and extremely dangerous. So it appears it's a waiting game until either of the 2 men are apprehended and are in police custody. Back to you in the studio. They aren't quite the cuddly animals you'd expect. These protesters are demonstrating the treatment they say animals endure as part of research being done at UBC.
We're wanting people to be aware of the research on animals that's going on out at UBC and the lack of information that they're giving the public. One of their researchers over the past 30 years has been doing very invasive experiments with cats where they're opening the spine, exposing it, permanently putting screws into the spine so they can manipulate the cat. Many of the experiments do seem to be quite invasive.
And it's not only the invasive nature of the experiments that has these protesters upset. They're frustrated with what they say is a veil of secrecy over UBC's research methods.
It just seems to be like a hush-hush situation that's happening, and we're here to make the public aware that look into it more. Why support UBC? Why put your kids through university when they're doing this to animals? I'm not, and I've got a son ready to go to university. He's not going to go there until they stop this. They cannot care for animals. They cannot care for animals. As a university, they're doing Vancouver terrible injustice.
Roughly 100,000 animals are used every year by the university. The organization behind this protest, along with over 4 dozen other animal rights groups, asked UBC's president for disclosure on the treatments. So far, though, they've received nothing.
We're trying to encourage UBC to be more of an open book and work with us, ultimately to end animal research. But for now, let's open up the books and show us what you're doing.
The Animal Care Center at UBC declined to comment on the protest. They did, however, ask us to check out their website. There, they say all animal research facilities are checked routinely by animal welfare groups, such as the BC SPCA. They also say that prior to any research being conducted on an animal, researchers must prove that no other means can be used to achieve the same results. Sam Numsen in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Try to really show a client what your intent was.
Brittany Judd has spent the last 3 years working to complete her interior design program. The heavy workload has taken its toll not only on her bank account, but her state of mind.
It definitely can get depressing when you feel like you're not seeing your friends and you're not having much of a life. You're just going to school and work and it all over again. It can be really stressful.
Judd isn't alone. The third Monday of January is said to be the most depressing day of the year. The post-Christmas blues mixed with mounting debts, financial dues, and school stresses have got Judd and others feeling the crunch.
I mean, over Christmas, I know myself and a lot of people work really hard. It's not really a break because you're just working really hard to pay for the next month or two of tuition and rent and everything. So school for sure takes a lot of time, a lot of energy.
One, which is for detoxing.
A counselor at BCIT agrees, saying time spent away from studies is important.
Make time to have fun. It's okay to put down the books, and it's actually will make you be more successful at school and keep you happy, which is most important.
Many say what started as an advertising campaign for a travel company is really no more than a combination of seasonal factors: cold and dark weather, time since Christmas, and mounting financial debts, among others.
There is seasonal affective disorder that many people are affected by. Changes in sleep, appetite, sex drive, energy, motivation. That's a real depression.
Batstone says students can help beat the blues by getting active.
Exercise is a key determinant of mental health, and it has a huge impact. So
I try to go for a run 4 days a week. Something active, get me out. Sometimes I just like my blood to pump, and
all with the hope of avoiding a bad spell of the Monday blues. Sam Numsen in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.